This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Kraft. Great food, fresh flavors, and a local touch. That's Kraft. From mouth-watering sandwiches and crisp salads to juicy burgers, steak, and pasta, there's something for everyone. Experience their famous cheesecake. Handcrafted and family-owned, you can find Kraft on the corner of 6th Street and Maderi. Reservations are appreciated.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your nest bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back, Jackrabbit fans, into the Denny Sanford Premier Center. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegian Sports, and it's the quarterfinals matchup here for the men's bracket. We had the women's for you earlier today, where the Jackrabbits were able to pull out a victory over the number 7 seeded Kansas City Roos. So the Jackrabbits advance in the women's bracket. Now the men's squad looking to advance here today. Just before this game that we're about to witness here, North Dakota State, the number 1 seed, took on number 8, Oral Roberts, and North Dakota State was able to come away with a victory there. It looked like Oral Roberts was putting up a little bit of a fight there in the second half, but ultimately North Dakota State comes out with a handy win there over the Golden Eagles, and they will move on to the semifinals. They're on the opposite side of the bracket of this game, the St. Thomas versus South Dakota State, the number 2 seed, and the Jackrabbits, the number 7 seed. The last time that the Jackrabbits were the number 7 seed was when they first entered the Summit League Championship. And we're going to have a moment of silence here, so I'm going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
All right, we are back after the break. Just a moment of silence in the room for a Summit League official who passed away. So just had to step aside there for a moment. But like I was saying, South Dakota State, the last time they were the number 7 seed in the Summit League tournament was their first season as a part of the league. The Jackrabbits were able to actually defeat the number 2 seed in that situation and did not advance past the semifinals, but were able to get the number 2 upset against Oral Roberts at that time in an overtime match. The final score of that game in 2009 was 72-69. The Jackrabbits have been the tournament champions in 2024, 2012, 2013, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2022. But last year, the Jackrabbits were upset in the quarterfinals by number 6 seeded North Dakota, where North Dakota was able to pull out an upset victory in the quarterfinals, 85-69 over the Jackrabbits. Now it's going to be the Jackrabbits' turn to try and get the upset. We're getting the starting group right now for South Dakota State. We'll announce it alongside them. First for the Jackrabbits is guard at 6'3", sophomore out of White River, South Dakota, number 3, Joe Seiler. Next for the Jackrabbits, guard at 6'3", junior out of DeSmet, South Dakota, number 10, Kalen Gary. Third for the Jackrabbits, forward at 6'7", the senior out of Yankton, South Dakota, number 11, Matthew Moores. Fourth up for the Jackrabbits down the chute is guard at 6 foot, sophomore out of Bellevue, Nebraska, number 14, Jaden Jackson. Last but not least for the Jackrabbits, center at 6'10", a sophomore out of DeSmet, South Dakota, number 34, Damon Wilkinson. That's the starting group for South Dakota State. The starting 5 for St. Thomas is Nolan Misael, Austin Harrow, Nick Janowski, Ben Osterman, and Carter Berkey. Taking a look at some more stats leading up to this matchup. The Jackrabbits finished the regular season 14-17 overall and 7-9 in conference play. So the Jackrabbits not having the most successful season they've had in the past, but looking to make the most of it here in March in the Summit League tournament when it matters most. The Jackrabbits are going to have a tall task to take on the Tommies here. The Jackrabbits lost both matchups against St. Thomas in the regular season. Taking a look at what those scores meant for the Jackrabbits. The first time they met in St. Paul, St. Thomas got a 5-point victory over the Jackrabbits. That game ended up being 74-69. And later in the season, when St. Thomas traveled to Brookings, South Dakota, they had a more handy victory, and where it was 77-62 in favor of the Tommies. So, Jackrabbits have a tall task. Keep an eye out for first-team All-Summit League performers Nick Janowski and Nolan Misael. They lead the University of St. Thomas, averaging 22 and 20 points per game, respectively, versus the Jackrabbits. Taking a look at players to watch for South Dakota State, Joe Seiler and Damon Wilkinson. Seiler, a threat from outside the arc with a 3-point shot, and Damon Wilkinson, the big body on the inside for SDSU. They are the double threat when it comes to the Jackrabbits, and we'll be watching them as this quarterfinal game gets kicked off. An interesting stat that I wanted to bring up here before the game. The Jackrabbits ended the season 14-17 overall in record, yes, but at home the Jackrabbits were 9-4, and away the Jacks were 4-9. At neutral sites, they were 1-4. When at home, the Jackrabbits had a winning record. Keep that in mind as we are in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It feels a lot like a home game for the Jackrabbits. A lot of yellow and blue in the stands here in the Denny Sanford Premier Center. So we'll see if the Jackrabbits have that home game luck coming in here to the quarterfinal, or if it feels more like a neutral site battle where the Jackrabbits ended up finishing 1-4 on the season when at neutral sites. We'll see how it gets started off in the first half. And they're just getting the starting groups out here for both teams. The Jackrabbits are head coached by Brian Peterson in his first season with the program. So we'll see if Brian Peterson can make his mark on the Summit League tournament here. And his first appearance as the head coach for South Dakota State in the postseason. 20 minutes goes on the clock. The first half about to get underway here. The number 2, number 7 seeds, St. Thomas and South Dakota State, respectively, about to face off here. And the face-off for South Dakota State, it will be Damon Wilkinson facing off against number 4 for St. Thomas, Nolan Misael. Wilkinson is at 6'10", compared to Misael at 6'5". Face-off about to go under. And the Jackrabbits are going to pull that one away. Damon Wilkinson able to get it away from the Tommies, and Joe Seiler starts with the basketball. A whistle quickly here as it goes out of bounds. Forced out by the Tommies. Jackrabbits maintain possession. Kalen Garrett to inbound in Tommy territory. Finds Joe Seiler. Seiler outside the arc on the far side, driving inside now. Spin move by Seiler. Kick out to Gary. Gary near side outside the arc. Damon Wilkinson working against two defenders, now three. Spin move towards the basket and in for two. The Jackrabbits strike first in this one. It's 2-0. Damon Wilkinson on the board. Now St. Thomas with a chance to answer. Austin Hero with it, gives to Minisell. Minisell with a reach around two. Bucket for St. Thomas's answer. We're tied at 2, just over 19 minutes left to go in the first. Kalen Gary on the far side looking for options. Finds Damon Wilkinson, now Joe Seiler. Near side arc, bounce pass in. Wilkinson up for 2, and Wilkinson with the long arms, able to get it in with a reach from far away from the basket, able to put it in there with a layup. Austin Hero passing right to his teammate Nick Janowski. And Janowski tries for the layup, no good. Gary comes in there and touches it as it goes out of bounds. 18:42 left to go in the first. It's 4-2. The Jackrabbits with a 2-point lead. St. Thomas to inbound in Jackrabbit territory. The Tommies get the inbound cleanly. And moving on the outside is Hero. Hero passing in to his teammate now with a spin move. Tries for the fadeaway two, no good. Rebound Damon Wilkinson, but that one goes out of bounds again. And they're going to say, they want to say Jackrabbit ball. Some of the St. Thomas players wanting a challenge there. 8:29 left to go in the first half. It's 4-2. Jackrabbits lead it by 2, and they're going to take a look at this. It looked like it did touch the Jackrabbits before heading out of bounds, so I'm curious what we'll see here on the replay. They were going to give the Jackrabbits the basketball there as it went out of bounds in Jackrabbit territory. If this one goes back to St. Thomas, it's going to be a rough series for the Jackrabbits as this has gone back and forth. The Jackrabbits almost getting the rebounds and then losing it as it went out. The Jackrabbits. So they are going to say that St. Thomas wins that challenge, so they're not going to lose their timeout. And the Tommies to inbound now in Jackrabbit territory as that call is successfully overturned. Still 4-2, the Jacks ahead by 2. 18:30 left to go. St. Thomas with the quick inbound. Nolan Minisell gets it. And he's on the far side, driving inside against Gary, and Gary runs into him. A whistle comes in. I think Kalen's going to pick up a foul here. First foul of the game goes to Kalen Gary there, working on the defense. 18:20 left to go in the first. St. Thomas with the quick inbound. Quickly moving Minisell against Gary again, underneath the hoop, and wide open and in for 2. But another whistle comes in on Kalen Gary before the shot. They're going to call another foul on Kalen Gary. Jackrabbit bench furious about that one. And you can hear the fans here as the replay's played on the big screen. St. Thomas gets another inbound after the Gary foul call. St. Thomas on the far side, driving in now towards the basket, passing out, and there a whistle travel called on St. Thomas. The Jackrabbits get the much-needed turnover, and the Jacks maintain the lead of 2. It's 4-2, just over 18 minutes left in the first half. Dane Jackson gets into Joe Seiler. Seiler driving quickly now for the Jackrabbits towards the basket. Kick out to his teammate. Matthew Moore's outside the arc. Moores towards the basket, tries for the layup, no good. Damon Wilkinson, second chance, no good. Rebound, St. Thomas. Headed the other way, it's Austin Hero. Outside is Ben Osterben. 3-point from the far side corner is drained. Ben Osterben for three, and St. Thomas takes the lead of one. It's 5-4, St. Thomas by one, 17-30 remaining in the first half. Joe Seiler outside the arc looking for options, finds Matthew Moores. Moores near side outside the arc, passing it to the right. That one goes to Luke Hurdle. Hurdle goes towards the basket. Moores in the near side corner. Moores driving, double teamed, and in for two, and one for Matthew Moores. Tough drive in by Matthew Moores through the double team, draws the foul and gets in the layup. Matthew Moores at the line shooting one. Moores, the and one is good. A 3-point play completed there by the Jackrabbits. 7-5, the Jacks lead it by 2 after the 3-point play. St. Thomas with the inbound, around 17 minutes remain here in the first half. Driving to the right and passing back to center. Austin Hero has it. Hero passing to his left. And 3-point comes in off the rim, no good. Shot from Nick Janowski. Joe Seiler up the court again for Generaling here. Give to Damon Wilkinson. Seiler quick inside the paint. Fade away from Seiler is airballed to the left. Rebound by St. Thomas. Under 17 minutes left to go in the first. St. Thomas having some trouble with the basketball. 7-5 is the score. The Jacks up by 2. 3-point shot from St. Thomas. Off the rim, no good. That one out of the hands of Ben Osterben. Matthew Moores driving, spin move. He's in St. Thomas territory. Pass out Damon Wilkinson, who lost his footing. Poked away by the defense, and a free 2 points here for Nick Janowski. Tied up at 7 points apiece with just over 16 minutes left to go in the first. Joe Seiler looking for an answer, finds Matthew Moores. Jaden Jackson, who hasn't got involved yet in this game on the near side. Back to Joe Seiler. Seiler driving in the paint, looking for options. Double team by Seiler. In for two and one, Joe Seiler. Seiler pushes through the double team, much like Matthew Moores, draws the foul and in for the layup, and he will go to the line after the media timeout. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Kraft. Great food, fresh flavors, and a local touch. That's Kraft. From mouth-watering sandwiches and crisp salads to juicy burgers, steak, and pasta, there's something for everyone. Experience their famous cheesecake. Handcrafted and family-owned, you can find Kraft on the corner of 6th Street and Maderi. Reservations are appreciated.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your nest bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back, Jackrabbit fans, into the Denny Sanford Premier Center. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegiate Sports. This is the quarterfinal game of Summit League men's basketball tournament. Joe Seiler just hit a 2-point layup and got the and one. He's at the line shooting one. 15:55 remaining in the first half. The Jackrabbits lead it 9-7. Seiler at the line. Has his bright blue and yellow shoes on. Makes the and one. It's 10-7. Jacks lead it by 3. Just under 16 minutes left to go in the first. Up the court for St. Thomas, Nolan Minisil. Hand to his teammate, Ryan Default. And back over to Nick Janowski. Isaiah Johnson-Aru, who just checked into the game for St. Thomas. 3-point coming from Minisil, and it goes off the rim, no good. 15:30 remaining in the first half. Here's Joe Seiler on the near side. Passing right, Luke Hurdle. Hurdle all the way across to Matthew Morris. Quick, Jane Jackson. Jackson for 3. That's off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound by Ryan Default, and St. Thomas headed the other way. Default almost loses it out of bounds, but gets it to his teammate. Spin move by St. Thomas underneath the basket. Default passing out. Johnson-Aru working against the Jackrabbit defense and passing out to Nick Janowski. Ryan Default gets to Minisil. Minisil deep 3 is cashed in by St. Thomas. It's 10-all. Under 15 minutes remaining in the first half. We're tied at 10. Jaden Jackson up the court for SDSU. Gets to Joe Seiler. Seiler for 3 from center arc. That rims off. No good. Luke Hurdle rebound. Second chance for the Jackrabbits. Joe Seiler, far side of the arc. Gets a screen by Alex Squires. Here's Matthew Moores under the basket. Wide open for the lay, but it takes a bad bounce off the rim. Moores pokes it out, and it goes over to Alex Squires. Passes to his teammate Joe Seiler. Seiler takes it across half court once again, back into the St. Thomas zone. Seiler for 3, cashed in. Joe Seiler. 13-10. They did by 3 over St. Thomas after the Seiler 3-point bucket. Johnson Aguirre up for 2. That's off the glass, no good. Poked out by Luke Hurdle. It goes back to the Tommies. And there's a block at the net, and the Jackrabbits get the turnover. Here's Joe Seiler across half court. Seiler quick inside the paint, looking for options. Spin move out. That one goes over the head of Luke Hurdle and out of bounds. St. Thomas will get the turnover. 13:40 remains in the first half. It's 13-10. The Jackrabbits with a 3-point lead. The Jackrabbits came into this game as the underdog, 7 seed versus the 2 seed here, and the Jackrabbits certainly putting up a fight in these first couple minutes of the first half. Austin Hero has it for St. Thomas after the inbound. Passing right and back to center, that's Minisil. Over to Osterman for St. Thomas, back to Minisil. Minisil spin move against Luke Hurdle. Back out to Austin Hero. Minisil step back 3. That's off the rim to the right, no good. Rebound Joe Seiler. Luke Hurdle up the court now for the team in yellow and blue. Passes over to Joe Seiler. Here's Alex Squires trying for the dunk, but blocked by Johnson-Aguirre, and St. Thomas takes it away towards the basket quickly and beating Luke Hurdle out in front. St. Thomas gets the 2-point layup. The Jackrabbits lead it 13-12 with a narrow 1-point lead. Just under 13 minutes remaining here in the first half. Luke Hurdle with it, give to Jaden Jackson. Jackson center arc. Too far away to shoot it. Jackson moving in now. Towards the paint, towards the basket. Jackson for 2 with the layup. 15-12, the Jackrabbits lead it by 3. St. Thomas looking to answer. 12:30 remaining in the first half. Austin Hero letting the clock run down. Working to the right, back to Hero at center. On the left side, it's Johnson-Aguirre. Kicks it into Minisil. And Minisil running into a defender as he was headed towards the basket. And whistle. Foul comes in on the Jackrabbits. 13 foul for the Jacks. 12-12 remains in the first half. St. Thomas to inbound here in Jackrabbit territory. Hero looking for options on the inbound. Kicks it out to Ben Osterben. Osterben. Spin move. Kick out back to Hero. Hero over to Johnson. Agru for three off the rim. No good. And ball heads out of bounds. Little contention there on who should get it. The refs pointed.
This portion of KSTJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Kraft. Great food, fresh flavors, and a local touch. That's Kraft. From mouth-watering sandwiches and crisp salads to juicy burgers, steak, and pasta, there's something for everyone. Experience their famous cheesecake. Handcrafted and family-owned, you can find Kraft on the corner of 6th Street and Maderi. Reservations are appreciated.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your nest bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSTJ 90.7.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
This portion of KSTJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings ParkWest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, ParkWest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. ParkWest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSTJ 90.7.
Welcome back into the Summit League quarterfinal men's tournament here in the Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegian Sports. So glad to have you alongside me for this one. 11:54 remains in the first half. The Jackrabbits lead over St. Thomas 15-12. Leading the charge for South Dakota State is Joe Seiler with 6 points today. He's 2 for 4 from the field. Has an and one and a three-point shot. Jaden Jackson to inbound here for SDSU after the media timeout. Gets it in to Matthew Moores. Here is Jaden Jackson back to Matthew Moores. Moore's bounce pass here to Luke Hurdle. Hurdle for three. That's off the rim. Almost took a good bounce, but no good. And Austin Hero headed the other way for St. Thomas. The Jackrabbits still with that three-point lead. 11:30 remaining in the first. Hero on the near side. Back to center. That is Nick Janowski. Janowski for three. That's nothing but net for St. Thomas. It'll tie us up at 15. 11:15 remaining in the first. We're tied at 15 after the three-pointer from St. Thomas. Jaden Jackson near side. Back to Matthew Moores. Here's Luke Hurdle, far side arc. Here's center, Damon Wilkinson. Wilkinson needs to drive inside, but gets it out to Jaden Jackson instead. Jackson outside the arc on the near side. Jackson driving. Spin move from Jaden Jackson. Inside the paint. Turn around and a jump shot fadeaway. Jaden Jackson is in for two. Jaden Jackson with 6 points now for the Jackrabbits starting off the first quarter. 10:40 remaining in the first half at 17-15. The Jacks with the 2-point lead. Nick Janowski getting over to Hero. Hero from the corner for three. No good. Damon Wilkinson rebounds for the Jackrabbits. Jaden Jackson up the far side of the court. Jackson dribbles between his legs, looking right, gets Kalen Gary. Here's Damon Wilkinson wide open on the backside for the layup. 19-15, Jacks lead by 4. St. Thomas has 10 minutes here left in the first. It's Austin Hero. Back over to Nick Janowski. Janowski up for a layup. That takes a bad bounce off the rim. No good. Luke Hurdle rebounds that time for the team in yellow and blue. Hurdle up the court. Over to Jaden Jackson on the far side. Jackson driving inside the paint. Jump shot. No good. Rebound by Jaden Jackson. Kalen Gary gets it over. Luke Hurdle wide open for 3. That's off the rim. No good. And Gary gets the rebound, but a whistle. St. Thomas picks up the foul. Third team foul of the first half. 9:30 remains in this half. It's 19-15. The Jackrabbits lead it by 4. Seiler inbounds to his teammate in St. Thomas territory. Gives it right back to Seiler. Seiler to Jackson. Near side, wide open for 3. That's off the front of the rim. No good. A whistle. Whistle after the shot. And they'll say foul on St. Thomas. And it's going to be an inbound here from Jaden Jackson. There's going to be a foul on that rebound attempt by St. Thomas. And Jackson gets an inbound here to Damon Wilkinson. Wilkinson in the paint, spin move here, in for 2, Damon Wilkinson. It's 21-15, the Jackrabbits lead it by 6. Ryan Default, Jackrabbit fans on their feet in Denny Sanford Premier Center. The Tommies had an opportunity for 3, Minnesell instead drives it in the paint, gets the layup off the glass for 2. 21-17. Jacks lead it by 4. Under 9 minutes left to go in the first. Foul comes in on the Jackrabbits during the process. So an and 1 here for Minnesell. Some substitutions being made by St. Thomas. Minnesell at the line, shooting 1. The and 1, no good off the front of the rim. Damon Wilkinson tried for the rebound. It's stolen away by St. Thomas, but they lose control, and Kalen Gary able to get it off the court. Jaden Jackson with the basketball now for SDSU. Give to Joe Seiler. Seiler up the far side, give to Gary. Here is Damon Wilkinson, center arc. Seiler gets it poked out of the back of his hands, but contact there on the arm and a foul. Foul on St. Thomas, the 5th team foul here in the first half for the Tommies. Kalen Gary to inbound. Finds Joe Seiler. 8:30 remaining in the first half. Seiler gives to Damon Wilkinson. Far side, it's Kalen Gary. Gary looking for options, in trouble, has to pass out, finds Jaden Jackson. 7-second shot clock. Matthew Moore's with it on the near side. 5 seconds. Here is Gary. Fadeaway 3. Kalen Gary. A deep 3 opportunity taken by Kalen Gary. He cashes it in from far outside the arc. It's 24-17, and Minnesell silences the cheers with his own 3 from outside the arc on the near side. St. Thomas answers. It's 24-20. The Jackrabbits with a 4-point lead. 7:46 remaining in the first half. Matthew Moore's give to Jaden Jackson, center arc. Jaden Jackson driving up the far side into the paint now. Jackson up for 2 off the front of the rim, no good. And that ball rebounded by Nolan Minnesell. Outside the arc is Minnesell for 3. That's undefended and nothing but net for Minnesell. And it's a 1-point game once again with 7:25 remaining in the first half. The Jackrabbits lead it 24-23. Timeout taken here. It's a media timeout. We'll take it with them. Be back after this.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Kraft. Great food, fresh flavors, and a local touch. That's Kraft. From mouth-watering sandwiches and crisp salads to juicy burgers, steak, and pasta, there's something for everyone. Experience their famous cheesecake. Handcrafted and family-owned, you can find Kraft on the corner of 6th Street and Maderi. Reservations are appreciated.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your nest bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back to Collegian Sports. We're live here in Sioux Falls in the Denny Sanford Premier Center for the quarterfinal game of the Men's Summit League basketball tournament, where the Jackrabbit number 7 seed are taking on the number 2 seed, St. Thomas Tommies. The Jackrabbits currently lead over St. Thomas 24-23, 7:25 remaining in the first half. The Jackrabbits get the inbound. Joe Seiler will take it up the court. Seiler on the Summit League logo, moving to the near side, driving inside, triple team on Seiler, passes out, wide open, Jaden Jackson for 3, off the front of the rim. Damon Wilkinson goes for the rebound, and it goes out of bounds. Last touch by St. Thomas. Just over 7 minutes remaining. Jaden Jackson finds an inbound to Damon Wilkinson, and that one heads out of bounds on Damon Wilkinson's touch quickly after the inbound. So a turnover there by the Jackrabbits in Tommy territory, and St. Thomas takes it away. Tommy's looking for an opportunity to take the lead here on this possession. Isaiah Johnson-Agru passes back to center arc. Janowski with it. Driving inside is Minnesale, and he gives to Johnson-Agru, in for 2, and gets the and 1. Tommies take the lead 25-24. The Jackrabbits down by 1 now, and 1 coming for Isaiah Johnson-Agru. .6:47 remaining in the first half. The and 1 is good. 26-24, and the Jackrabbits in a 2-point deficit now to St. Thomas. The Tommies have led for 25 seconds so far in the first half, and now have taken the lead over the Jackrabbits. Matthew Moores has it. He gives to Kalen Gary. Gary step back outside of the 3-point line now. Passing in, Damon Wilkinson over to Joe Seiler. Jaden Jackson from the near side corner, and Jackson lights it up with a corner 3. 27-26, the Jackrabbits Lead it by 1, just over 6 minutes to go in the first half. Austin Hero passes over to Nick Janowski. Over to Ben Osterman. Back to center arc. Here comes a three-point shot from Janowski. That's off the rim, no good. Rebound, Damon Wilkinson. Kalen Gary has it back to Wilkinson. Here's Joe Seiler, deep three from Seiler. That's good, nothing but net, Joe Seiler. It's 30-26, the Jackrabbits lead it by 4, under 6 minutes remaining here in the first half. Ben Osterman gives it to Nolan Minisale. Minisale working against a double team, driving in, and a whistle before the shot from Minisale. Damon Wilkinson picks up a foul. Team's 6th foul of the first half. 5:24 remains in the half. The Jackrabbits lead it 30-26. St. Thomas to inbound in Jackrabbit territory. They get it in cleanly here. Ryan Default outside the arc for St. Thomas. Default passes in to Jermaine Coleman and back out to Ben Osterman. Minisale on the far side. Backwards pass to Default is stolen away. Jaden Jackson now on the floor fighting for it. It's going to be a jump ball. St. Thomas possession. 5:03 remaining in the first. Still 30-26 in favor of the Jackrabbits. St. Thomas to inbound once again in Jackrabbit territory. They get it in cleanly once again into Carter Bjerke. Here to Default on the near side. Working against Luke Hurdle. Default towards the basket. Looking towards the rim. No good. Luke Hurdle with the rebound and a foul comes in. And fans aren't going to like that one. Seventh team foul for the Jackrabbits will put St. Thomas into the bonus. That means Ryan Default is at the line shooting 2. 4:48 remaining in the first half. It's 30-26. First free throw is made by Ryan Default. One left to go for Default at the line. Shot is up. Off the front of the rim, no good. It makes the score 30-27. The Jacks with a 3-point lead. St. Thomas in the bonus. Matthew Moores gets it. Gets to Luke Hurdle. Hurdle back to Joe Seiler, center arc. Seiler goes to the far side. Driving into the paint now. Seiler quick over Luke Hurdle. Going for 2. And the and 1. Luke Hurdle. .432 remaining in the first. Luke Hurdle gets an and 1. He'll go to the line and shoot 1. St. Thomas arguing with that foul call. They have 16 fouls now with 4:32 remaining in the first half. Hurdle with the and 1. It's off the front of the rim, takes a good bounce, and in for Luke Hurdle's and 1. It's 27-33. The Jacks lead it by 6. 4:32 remaining in the first half. Austin Hero on the near side for St. Thomas. Passes to Janowski. Back to Hero. Back to Janowski near side. Janowski takes it to center. Passes over to Minisale. Inside Hero. Spin against Squires. Underneath the basket. Passes out. Corner three is good. A buzzer beater there by Ben Osterben. It's 33-30. The Jackrabbits with a 3-point lead over the Tommies. Under 4 minutes remaining now in the first half. Luke Hurdle up the court. Pass to Jaden Jackson near side. Here's Matthew Moores. Moores working against defender, moving inside. Pass to Jaden Jackson. Moores sets a screen. Jackson backs up, now driving inside the paint. Spin move, Jackson fade away. That's too far off the back. Matthew Moores, second chance and in. For two, Matthew Moores on the second chance. 35-30, the Jackrabbits lead the number 2 seeded St. Thomas Tommies by 5 with 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the first half. Hero lost it as he was headed towards the basket, and it's going to be a turnover. The Jackrabbits take it away, and there's celebrations on the Jackrabbit bench as a timeout is taken. A media timeout with 3:08 remaining in the first half. The Jackrabbits lead it 35-30 and just got the turnover. We'll be back after the media timeout.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Kraft. Great food, fresh flavors, and a local touch. That's Kraft. From mouth-watering sandwiches and crisp salads to juicy burgers, steak, and pasta, there's something for everyone. Experience their famous cheesecake. Handcrafted and family-owned, you can find Kraft on the corner of 6th Street and Maderi. Reservations are appreciated.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your nest bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back into the Denny Sanford Premier Center. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegian Sports. The Jackrabbits lead the number 2 seeded St. Thomas Tommies 35-30 with 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Joe Seiler with the basketball, quick up the court for the Jackrabbits to start things off after the media timeout. Jaden Jackson has it now, give to Matthew Moores. Moores driving in, he lost his footing, the ball heads out of bounds. It'll be a turnover. Both teams shooting 50% from the field, around 40% on three-pointers. The difference maker is rebounds. The Jackrabbits have double the amount of rebounds here for St. Thomas. The Jackrabbits 16 total compared to the Tommy 9. Defensive rebounds, the Jackrabbits 10 to the Tommy 6. Three-point shot coming here, goes wide left from St. Thomas. Luke Hurdle on the rebound and a whistle on the rebound. Foul's going to come in here on Matthew Morse. 8th team foul for the Jackrabbits. 2:32 remaining in the first. Still 35-30. The Jackrabbits up by 5, but it is Carter Bierke at the line. He'll shoot 2, makes his first. Second one is good. After the free throws, it's 35-32. The Jackrabbits with a 3-point lead over the Tommies. 2 minutes 32 remaining in the first half. Joe Seiler passing in. Gets it to Jaden Jackson, who's going to take it across half court for the Jacks. Matthew Moore's passing right. That's Joe Seiler outside the arc. Seiler driving inside now, looking out. That's Hurdle. Hurdle gets to Jackson. Back to Hurdle. Hurdle center arc. Inside the paint now. Luke Hurdle, spin move, fadeaway 2. Off the glass and takes an unlucky bounce. Matthew Moore's rebound. Second chance here. Moore's getting double teamed. Lost control of the basketball. Less than 2 minutes remaining in the first half. It's still 35-32. The Jackrabbits up by 3. Nolan Minnesale had some trouble with the basketball there, but his teammate helped him out, got it back to him. Austin Hero with it for St. Thomas. Hero near side. Ben Osterbin. Now back to Hero. Here is Johnson Agru driving inside. Kicks it out to the corner. Corner 3 is good for Ben Osterbin. We're tied at 35 with 1:30 remaining in the first half after the three-pointer by Ben Osterbin and St. Thomas. Matthew Morris gives to Joe Seiler. Seiler to Damon Wilkinson. Wilkinson to Jaden Jackson near side. Jackson moving to center arc. Gives to Luke Hurdle. Hurdle kicks it out, and it's broken up and stolen away by St. Thomas. Minnesale, spin move, up towards the basket, no good. Rebound by Joe Seiler. Seiler on the near side, give to Jaden Jackson. Here's Damon Wilkinson. Wilkinson lost it. It's stolen away again by St. Thomas. Another turnover for the Tommies and another layup. 37-35. The Tommies take the 2-point lead. Under 40 seconds remaining in the first half. Joe Seiler with the basketball. There's about 10-second difference on the shot clock and the game clock. And a Tommy hits the court with a foul. Damon Wilkinson picks up the foul. The 9th team foul for the Jackrabbits. 31 seconds remaining here in the first half. "31 seconds remaining in the first half. It's 37-35. The Tommies with a 2-point lead. The officials going to take a look at this one. The Tommies are on a 7-0 run of the last 2 minutes. The Jackrabbits on a point drought of the last 3 minutes. Play is under review. They're going to take a look at this one. Common foul here on the Jackrabbits, and the St. Thomas will get the basketball. Call confirmed here in Sioux Falls. "31 seconds remaining here. And Tommies are going to elect to use a timeout. So St. Thomas currently in a timeout. We'll take a look at some leading scores for St. Thomas. Nolan Minnesale currently leads the Tommies with 13 points. He's 5 for 8 from the field, 3 for 5 from the three-point line. 1 rebound, 3 assists for Minnesale. The Jackrabbits currently have 5 turnovers in the last 3 minutes. Keep an eye out for that as the Jackrabbits also on a scoring drought of the same amount of time. can't score if you can't hold on to the ball. The Jackrabbits now down by 2 in the final 31 seconds of this half. Nolan Minnesale is going to walk it forward for St. Thomas. There's 1 second on the shot clock, more than the game clock, so St. Thomas can run this thing all the way down and take the last shot. 8 seconds. Down to 6, 5, 4, and driving inside, Minnesale headed towards the basket. 3 seconds remain on the clock, and a foul. Seiler picks up the foul, and 10th team foul for the Jackrabbits. Nolan Minnesale will go to the line. He'll shoot 2. First one is good. Second one at the line for Minnesale. There's about 4 seconds remaining on the game clock here. Second one is made. The Jackrabbits have 4 seconds to put some points on the board before the half. Luke Hurdle gets the inbound to Joe Seiler. It's stolen away by St. Thomas, but a whistle. Team 7th foul for St. Thomas as they picked that one up when trying to intercept the inbound. And it'll put the Jackrabbits into the bonus, and Joe Seiler will be at the line shooting 2. Good way to pick up some points here at the end of the first half. Seiler. First one is good. Seiler's second opportunity at the line. Shot is up and good. Makes it 39-37. The Jackrabbits down by 2. 2 seconds, down to 1. St. Thomas with an opportunity for a buzzer beater off the glass, hit the rim, but no good. That brings us to the end of the first. Halftime score, St. Thomas 39, the Jackrabbits 37. Jacks down by 2, a lot closer than it should be. 2 seed versus 7 seed matchup here. The Jackrabbits looking for the upset. We'll be back for a halftime report and the second half of action here in the Summit League quarterfinal. We'll be back after this.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Kraft. Great food, fresh flavors, and a local touch. That's Kraft. From mouth-watering sandwiches and crisp salads to juicy burgers, steak, and pasta, there's something for everyone. Experience their famous cheesecake. Handcrafted and family-owned, you can find Kraft on the corner of 6th Street and Maderi. Reservations are appreciated.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your next bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
So what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. Talk to someone if you're struggling with mental health, because most people out here really care. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Welcome into the Collegian Sports Halftime Report. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegian Sports. The number 2 seeded St. Thomas Tommies lead the number 7 seeded South Dakota State Jackrabbits 39-37. Only a 2-point lead for the Tommies. A lot closer than a lot of people thought it would be for this matchup. But South Dakota State certainly putting up a fight through the first half. It feels like a home game here in Sioux Falls. A lot of yellow and blue in the stands here in the Denny Sanford Premier Center. Taking a look at team comparisons stats-wise. Field goal percentage for the Jackrabbits was right around 48%. 14 for 29 there on field goals compared to the St. Thomas 50%. They were 13 for 26. Outside the arc, the Jackrabbits shot 40%, 4 for 10 there, compared to the St. Thomas 47%, 7 for 15 for the Tommies. On free throws, the Jackrabbits were 100%, 5 for 5 from out on the free line, compared to the Tommies 75%, 6 for 8 for them. Turnovers, the Jackrabbits have 8, and the St. Thomas Tommies have 3. Taking a look, those turnovers, a lot of them, 5 of them actually came within the last 4 minutes of that first half, where the Jackrabbits kind of fell apart there for a couple minutes, but got back into it to close out the half and keep it a 2-point game. The Tommies have 14 points off of turnovers compared to the Jackrabbits 0. That's a number you're going to want to look out for. The reason the Jackrabbits have been so successful through the first half was largely because of rebounds. The Jackrabbits have double the rebounds of St. Thomas. They've got 18 compared to the Tommy 9. 11 of those are defensive. 7 of them are offensive rebounds compared to the Tommy 6 defensive and 3 offensive. So if the Jackrabbits can keep rebounding and keep doubling the rebounds of St. Thomas, they will maintain competitiveness. They just got to control those turnovers and limit the points off of turnovers, because that's where the Tommies are going to run away with things if we can't control it in the second half. But we'll watch those stats as we continue. The Jackrabbits have 2 steals compared to the St. Thomas 4, also something to look out for. The Jackrabbits and the Tommies are pretty equal when it comes to points in the paint. The Jackrabbits outpace the Tommies 14-12 in that category. And assists, the Tommies have 9 compared to the Jackrabbits 6. So maybe the Jacks can work on moving the ball around a little bit more as we move into the second half, but we will look at that when we get to it. The most surprising stat of the day is the Jackrabbits have held the lead for 15 minutes and 18 seconds of the first half compared to the St. Thomas 1 minute and 27 seconds. The Tommies have been playing from behind for the most of this first half, just gaining the lead in the last couple minutes there of that first half. Within the last 3 minutes, the Tommies had a narrow lead of 3-2. So, halftime score 39-37. We'll take a look at St. Thomas's top scorer. Nolan Minisale has 15 points. He's 5 for 8 on field goals, 3 for 5 from outside the arc, and 2 for 3 from the free throw line. 1 rebound and 3 assists for Minisale. Behind him is Osterbin with 11. He's 4 for 6 on field goals, 3 for 4 out from outside the arc, 2 rebounds and 2 assists for Osterbin. Taking a look at the leading scorers for South Dakota State, it's all Joe Seiler with 11 points today. 3 for 5 from the field, 2 for 3 from outside the arc, and 3 for 3 from the line. Joe Seiler has 3 rebounds and 3 assists. Behind him, scoring for the Jackrabbits is Damon Wilkinson with 8. He's 4 for 5 from the field, 3 rebounds and 1 assist for Damon Wilkinson. Behind Wilkinson is Jaden Jackson with 7, Matthew Moores with 5, Luke Hurdle with 3, and Kalen Gary with 3. Those are the scorers for South Dakota State. It's 39-37. The Jackrabbits with a 2-point deficit headed into the second half of this quarterfinal game. Can the Jackrabbits pull off the upset on the 2-seeded St. Thomas Tommies? It will all be seen in the next 20 minutes. We'll have it here for you in about 4 minutes, and that will bring us to the end of the halftime, and we'll have the second half of play from Sioux Falls here on Collegian Sports. Stick around.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings Park West. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7. This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Kraft. Great food, fresh flavors, and a local touch. That's Kraft. From mouth-watering sandwiches and crisp salads to juicy burgers, steak, and pasta, there's something for everyone. Experience their famous cheesecake. Handcrafted and family-owned, you can find Kraft on the corner of 6th Street and Maderi. Reservations are appreciated.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your nest bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Welcome back into the Denny Stanford Premier Center. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegiate Sports. The Jackrabbits down by 2 to kick off the second half. It's 39-37. The Tommies with the narrow lead. The number 2 seeded Tommies taking on the number 7 seeded South Dakota State Jackrabbits. The Jacks trying to pull off the upset here, like what happened to them last year in the Summit League tournament, where the number 3 seed Jackrabbits took on the number 6 seeded North Dakota Fighting Hawks, and the Fighting Hawks were able to pull off the upset in the quarterfinal over the Jacks, and the Jacks trying to do it here today against St. Thomas. We'll see if it happens. About 20 seconds left at halftime, and we'll come back in here for the start of the second. So glad to have you alongside me for this one. Turning out to be a great game here in Sioux Falls as part of the quarterfinals for the Summit League tournament. It's always been a privilege to be able to cover Jackrabbit Athletics here for you on Collegiate Sports and KSDJ 90.7. So I appreciate you listening alongside me over the years. 20 minutes goes back up on the clock, and we're about to get underway here in the second half. Again, the Tommies leading the Jackrabbits 39-37 here. Kalen Gary inbounds to Joe Seiler, and the half is underway. Seiler gets to Kalen Gary. Gary's outside the arc. Gary passing right, that's Matthew Morse. Here's Damon Wilkinson back out to Gary. Gary driving inside the arc now. Passing over, Jaden Jackson pulls up for 3. That's off the rim, no good. Rebound by St. Thomas's Ben Osterman. And Jaden Jackson with a steal on the other side of the court, and the South Dakota State Jackrabbits are back the other way early with a turnover gained from St. Thomas. Joe Seiler gets to Damon Wilkinson. Wilkinson tries for the 2-point bucket, no good. Wilkinson gets his own rebound, and a foul comes in. First team foul of the second half for South Dakota State. Third personal foul for Damon Wilkinson. St. Thomas gets the inbound here cleanly. Austin Hero across half court for the Tommies. Here to Minnesale, leading scorer right now for St. Thomas on the far side. Here comes a three-point attempt off the rim, no good. That shot taken by Bjerke. Jaden Jackson gives to Alex Squires. Squires in for two. 39-39. We're tied up with 18:48 left to go in the second. Austin Hero up the court for St. Thomas. Hero passing back to Nick Janowski. Janowski give to Carter Berkey on the near side. And back over to Ben Osterben. Osterben quick inside the paint, working against Alex Squires. Reach around, two is good for Osterben. It's 41-39. The Jacks down by two. 18-12 remaining in the second. Alex Squires on the far side, give to Joe Seiler. Seiler quick inside, kick out. Jaden Jackson, near side corner three off the rim, no good. Nolan Minnesale on the rebound for St. Thomas. Minnesale inside the three-point line, hands it over to his teammate Carter Bjerke for three, and that's cashed in for St. Thomas. 44-39, the Jacks down by five now. 17:40 remaining in the second half, and St. Thomas out to a quick start here after halftime. Bjerke ran into Seiler as he was driving forward. It's going to be a foul on St. Thomas. First team foul, the second for the Tommies. Kalen Gary will inbound for the Jackrabbits. It's still 44-39. The Jackrabbits are down by five now. 17:34 remains in the game. Kalen Gary to inbound. Finds Joe Seiler. Seiler moving forward. Hands it over to Kalen Gary. Gary to Jaden Jackson. Jackson to Matthew Moores on the near side. Here's Alex Squires at the top of the arc. Hands it over to Kalen Gary. Gary quick in to Jaden Jackson. Step back three. Buzzer beater, no good. And this one rebounded by the Jackrabbits. Matthew Moores quick to Kalen Gary. Joe Seiler wide open for three. Seiler off the top of the rim, no good. And it heads out of bounds. 17 minutes remains in the game. It's 44-39. The Jackrabbits down by five. Jaden Jackson to inbound here in Tommy territory. Jackrabbits getting a lot of opportunities here on this possession. Just not able to put anything in the basket. Gets it into Alex Squires. Squires to Joe Seiler. Seiler at outside the arc now, driving inside. Spin move from Seiler. Looking for options, can't find anything. Finds Alex Squires inside the paint. He kicks out. Jaden Jackson drives in. Wide open. Matthew Moores for three from the corner. Off the back of the rim, no good. Nolan Minnesale with the rebound for St. Thomas. The Jackrabbits are on a scoring drought of 2 minutes. Alex Squires tried to get a block there, but a layup from St. Thomas is good. It's going to be an and one. Second foul for the Jackrabbits of the second half. Sends Nick Janowski to the line, shooting an and one. 16:43 remaining in the second half. The Jackrabbits now down by 7. Janowski's shot for the and one is good. The Jacks are down by 8 now. Joe Seiler to inbound. The Jackrabbits on a scoring drought of the last 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Need something here for momentum's sake. Here is Jaden Jackson up the court. Gives to Joe Seiler. Seiler in trouble. Has to pass into Alex Squires. Back out to Seiler. Seiler getting double teamed in the corner. Looking for options. Now moving inside the paint. Seiler over to Matthew Moores. Jaden Jackson for three. That goes long. A rebound by Alex Squires. Second chance here. Joe Seiler trying for two, no good, and St. Thomas gets the rebound. Johnson Agrew with it. He hands it over to his teammate. He makes a rotate, stolen away. Jaden Jackson for SDSU, and he head towards the basket. No good, but a whistle as he was driving towards the hoop. Jackrabbits with 0 points the last 2 minutes and 52 seconds now. Jaden Jackson will go to the line. Jackson at the line shooting 2. First is good. Second team foul of the second half for the Tommies. 16 minutes remaining here in the game. Jaden Jackson at the line. His second shot is up and good. 47-41, the Jacks in a 6-point deficit. Minnesale hands it over to Nick Janowski. Janowski, cross half court, passing to the right, that's Minnesale. Back over to Ryan Default. Back over to Janowski, top of this three-point line, now driving inside of the key. And it goes out of bounds on St. Thomas's touch, and the Jackrabbits will inbound. We're going to have a media timeout. It's 47-41. The Jackrabbits down by 6. 15:35 remaining in the game. And a Jackrabbit inbound coming after the break.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Kraft. Great food, fresh flavors, and a local touch. That's Kraft. From mouth-watering sandwiches and crisp salads to juicy burgers, steak, and pasta, there's something for everyone. Experience their famous cheesecake. Handcrafted and family-owned, you can find Kraft on the corner of 6th Street and Maderi. Reservations are appreciated.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your nest bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings ParkWest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, ParkWest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. ParkWest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back into the Denny Sanford Premier Center. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegiate Sports. St. Thomas leads the Jackrabbits 47-41 with 15 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the game. The Jackrabbits down by 6. Jaden Jackson going to come in here with an inbound to start things off after the media timeout. Jackson give to Joe Seiler. Seiler on the near side, spin move. Gets back up to the top of the three-point line. Alex Squires gets it. He tried to quickly pass it over to Matthew Morris, and instead it ends up in the hands of Jaden Jackson. That one dangerous, could have been taken away by St. Thomas. Here is Kalen Gary. Step back three. Kalen Gary off the front of the rim. No good. Rebounded by Ben Osterben in St. Thomas. Nolan Minnesale up the court for St. Thomas, the leading scorer. He has 15 points today for the Tommies. Three-point shot is no good, coming from Johnson Agaru. Joe Seiler with it, gives to Gary. Gary tried for the bounce pass to Alex Squires, and a whistle there as that one broken up. Foul comes in on the Tommies, team third foul. for the second half. 14:49 remaining in the game. Still 47-41. The Jackrabbits down by 6. Matthew Moores will inbound in Tommy territory. Joe Seiler with the inbound there. Got it into Alex Squires. Squires back to Seiler. Seiler outside the arc, looking for options. All the way over to Matthew Moores in the far side corner. Here to Kalen Gary. Gary driving inside. In trouble, goes for the shot, no good. Gary gets his own rebound, and it's poked out of his hands and in the hands of Austin Hero for St. Thomas. And on the backside, it's in for the layup. Johnson Agaru wide open for St. Thomas. 49-41. The Jackrabbits down by 8 now with 14:20 remaining in the game. The Jackrabbits have had 0 field goals the last 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Joe Seiler driving inside the paint, and this one swatted out of midair by Nolan Minisale, denied. The Jackrabbits really struggling to score a basket here. Only points coming from free throws in the last 5 minutes. Foul comes in on the Jackrabbits, 3rd team foul. Tommies get the inbound here after the foul by the Jackrabbits. Austin Hero up the court for St. Thomas. Gives it to Isaiah Johnson-Agaru. Jeremiah Coleman has it. Bounce pass across to Nick Janowski. Driving forward is Johnson-Agaru, and a foul as he was driving in the paint. Alex Squires picked up his first foul of the game, 4th team foul for the Jackrabbits. Inbound from St. Thomas in Jackrabbit territory. There's 13:43 on the game clock here. St. Thomas with it outside the three-point line. On the far side is Coleman. And a three-point shot coming in from Minisale is cashed. 52-41, and the Tommies starting to run away with things here. 13 minutes, 30 seconds remain in the second half. The Jackrabbits, 0 points in the last 2 minutes, 32 seconds, 0 field goals the last 5 minutes. The Jackrabbits are 0 of their last 10 field goal attempts. We're in a timeout. We'll take it with them. Be back after this.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Kraft. Great food, fresh flavors, and a local touch. That's Kraft. From mouth-watering sandwiches and crisp salads to juicy burgers, steak, and pasta, there's something for everyone. Experience their famous cheesecake. Handcrafted and family-owned, you can find Kraft on the corner of 6th Street and Maderi. Reservations are appreciated.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your nest bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back to the quarterfinal match of the Summit League men's basketball tournament. The Jackrabbits get the inbound after the media timeout. It's 52-41. St. Thomas leads by double digits. Luke Hurdle on the far side for the Jackrabbits gives to Damon Wilkinson. The Jackrabbits are over their last 10 field goal attempts. Wilkinson driving inside the paint, spin move, gets in trouble, has to pass out to Luke Hurdle. Fans wanted the foul call. Damon Wilkinson gets it on the backside, in for two, and the and one for Damon Wilkinson. Just over 13 minutes remaining in the game. Fourth team foul picked up by the Tommies. Wilkinson at the line, shooting an and one. This ends the scoring drought for the Jackrabbits. And one from Wilkinson is good. 52-44. The Jackrabbits down by 8. 13 minutes remaining. Austin Hero with it for St. Thomas. Passes in to Nolan Minisale. Minisale, jump shot two, no good. Damon Wilkinson rebound. Jaden Jackson up the court for SDSU. Jackson inside the arc. Give it over to Luke Hurdle. Hurdle for three. That was a hair ball. It hit his hand. Missed foul call potentially there on that one as Hurdle was in the process of shooting and got ran into by a defender, but play continues in St. Thomas going the other way. Nolan Minisale driving inside the paint. Spin move. Minisale hit the bottom of the rim. Rebound Luke Hurdle. SDSU going the other way. A whistle. Luke Hurdle comes in to inbound it here. And the Tommies making some substitutions. It's 52-44. Jackrabbits down by 8. Hurdle inbounds finds Jaden Jackson. 12 minutes, 14 seconds remaining in the game. Jaden Jackson, quick inside, pass out to, that is Caleb Delzel, who just checked in the game for the Jackrabbits. Jaden Jackson gets his own rebound, in for two. Jaden Jackson on the second chance. 52-46, the Jackrabbits down by 6. And fans getting fired up in here. Under 12 minutes left to go. Austin Hero with it. Give to Nick Janowski. Janowski back over to Hero on the far side of the arc. Lost control of it. Hurdle going in for the steal and a foul. Luke Hurdle's going to pick up that foul. Fourth team foul for the Jackrabbits. 52-46. The Jacks down by 6 with 11:29 left to go in the game. We're in immediate timeout. Interesting stat line. St. Thomas currently on a scoring drought of the last 2 minutes. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your nest bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSTJ 90.7.
This portion of KSTJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Kraft. Great food, fresh flavors, and a local touch. That's Kraft. From mouth-watering sandwiches and crisp salads to juicy burgers, steak, and pasta, there's something for everyone. Experience their famous cheesecake. Handcrafted and family-owned, you can find Kraft on the corner of 6th Street and Maderi. Reservations are appreciated.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back in after the media timeout. St. Thomas quick to action here as they get the inbound. And it's Minnesale inside the paint, driving against Kalen Gary. Outside the arc they go. And Minnesale gets it right back. Step back from Minnesale, pass over to his teammate. Three-pointer coming in. And a buzzer beater by Ben Osterben for three. 55-46, St. Thomas leads the Jackrabbits. Just under 11 minutes left to go in the game. Jaden Jackson on the far side. Letting some time run off here as Jackson gets set. He's moving to the right, gives to Matthew Moores. Back to Jackson, top of the three. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Jackson moving inside. Gives over to Kalen Gary. 5 seconds now for Gary. Seiler had to shoot it from outside the arc. It's no good. Nolan Minnesale gets the rebound. Pass over to his teammate Osterben. Osterben driving inside the paint, looking for options. Working in Seiler. Osterben gets it in for two. 57-46. The Jackrabbits down by 11 now. 10 minutes remaining in the game. Jaden Jackson gives to Gary, over to Moores. Moores open on the backside for the layup. They're 57-48. St. Thomas leading by 9. Nolan Minnesale gives over to Osterben again. Osterben for three. He was wide open and he cashes it in. Osterben for three. It's 60-48. And the Jackrabbits down by 12. 9:30 remaining in the game. Jaden Jackson moving to the right. Passes to Joe Seiler. Seiler in to Damon Wilkinson. Wilkinson spin move. Double spin move. Going for the basket, and it's stolen away by Ben Osterben. St. Thomas with the basketball. Driving inside the paint is Minnesale. And in for two off the glass. Minnesale, and St. Thomas is turning on the torch here on the Jackrabbits. It's 62-48. The Jacks are down by 14 now. Under 9 minutes remaining in the game. Matthew Moores driving inside. Spin move. Pass out. Jaden Jackson wide open for three. Jackson cashes it in from outside the arc. 62-51. Jackrabbits still in the deficit. Ryan Default passes over to his teammate, and it comes back to Default. Back to the center of the arc, Janowski. In the far side corner, driving inside is Default, and he lost control of the basketball and ends up in the hand of Osterben. His three-point shot is no good. It heads out of bounds, and the Jackrabbits are going to get the call. 8 minutes and 16 seconds remaining. Matthew Moores to inbound it. (62-51) the score. Jackrabbits are down. Jaden Jackson inbounds to Joe Seiler. Seiler moving up the court now on the near side. Seiler heads back to center. Give it over to Matthew Moores, wide open for three. That one wide right off the glass. 8 minutes remaining in the game. Ball lost there by St. Thomas and tied up by Alex Squires. Jump ball. St. Thomas in possession. We're going to be in another media timeout. 8 minutes remaining here in the game. It's 62-51. The Jackrabbits down. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this.
So what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
When the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/olderadults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
Welcome back into the quarterfinal game of the Men's Summit League Basketball Tournament. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegiate Sports, and the Tommies starting to run away with things here in the second half, where the Jackrabbits kept comparable to the Tommies through the first. They're starting to get a little sluggish out there. St. Thomas shooting 55% from the field compared to the Jackrabbit 39%. Tommies hitting 50% of the threes compared to the Jackrabbit 24%. 62-51 the score with the Tommies out ahead. Under 8 minutes remaining in the game. Johnson Ogaru moving inside, trying for the layup. Couldn't get it, but he's going to get the and one. Excuse me, not the and one, the foul, and he'll be at the line. Sixth team foul for the Tommies. Johnson Ogaru, first one is missed.
Now that they're eligible for NCAA tournament. And since the guys, they talk about it, but it really is about a one day at a time mentality. Continue to play hard.
Second one is good. 63-51 after the free throw from Johnson Ogaru. Joe Seiler moving inside. Spin move from Seiler out to Kalen Gary. Kick over to Squires. Gary back to Squires. Squires on the backside for the layup. It's good. A tough bucket there from Alex Squires. 63-53. The Jackrabbits down by 10. Just over 7 minutes remaining in the game. Austin Hero gets it back to a wide open Tommy for three. It's Carter Berkey. 66-53, and the Tommies are lighting it up from outside the three-point line. The Tommies are 12 for 23 from outside the arc. Missed shot from the Jackrabbits. The Tommies headed the other way. Tommies take the shot from outside the arc again. It's no good. Kalen Gary gets the rebound. Just over 6 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the game. Joe Seiler up the court, gives to Jaden Jackson. Here's Alex Squires at the top of the three-point line. Given to Joe Seiler. Seiler looking for options, has to pass it in. Alex Squires, Matthew Moore's on the backside trying for space. Alex Squires getting the double team. Tried for the bucket, couldn't get it, but fouled. Fifth team foul for the Tommies of the second half. 6 minutes, 19 seconds remaining in the second. Alex Squires at the line, shooting 2. Squires' first trip to the line today. First one is good. Squires at the line for his second shot. Off the rim, no good. Rebound by Matthew Moores, and Moores in for 2. Great play by Matthew Moores to get the rebound and the 2-point layup. It's 66 to 56, and the Jackrabbits are down by 10. 6 minutes remaining in the game. Nick Janowski inside the paint, up for 2 off the glass. It's good for St. Thomas. 68 to 56. Tommy's out ahead. 5:45 remaining in the game. Jaden Jackson gives to Matthew Moores. Back to Jackson, top of the three-point line. Jackson driving inside the paint. Blocked by the Tommy defender and into the arms of Austin Hero. St. Thomas in Jackrabbit territory. Hero looking for options. Goes to the far side corner. It's Osterbahn as he went for the shot, a whistle. Matthew Moores picks up a foul. 7th team foul puts the Tommies into the bonus. At the line, shooting 2 is Ben Osterbahn. First one is good. Five minutes, 18 seconds remaining in the game. Osterbahn at the line, shooting his second. And it is good. 70 to 56. The Jacks down by 14. Jaden Jackson up the court on the near side. Gives to Alex Squires. Squires back to Jaden Jackson. Jackson inside the paint. Kicks it out to Kalen Gary. Here is Joe Seiler, top of the three-point line. Over to Gary, far side for 3. Kalen Gary for 3. After the three-point basket from Kalen Gary, it's 70 to 59. The Jackrabbits down by 11 with just under 5 minutes left to go in the game. Three-point shot coming in here from Nick Janowski is no good. Off the rim, rebounded by the Jackrabbits, and Joe Seiler is headed the other way. Seiler in trouble, goes for the three-point shot. That off the rim, took an unlucky bounce there. Out to Nolan Minisell. Over to Ryan Default. 4 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the game. Minisell. On the Summit League logo at center court. Minisell moving up the far side. Outside the three-point line. Still Minisell. 5 seconds on the shot clock for the Tommies. They take the 3. Osterbahn, no good off the rim. Rebounded by Luke Hurdle. Under 4 minutes left to go in the game. It's still 70 to 59. Hurdle for 3. That's off the front of the rim. No good. Nolan Minisell with the rebound for the Tommies. They're going to slow things down. The Jackrabbits are shooting 24% from outside the arc. They're 6 for 25 there. Isaiah Johnson Arigu moving inside. Gives it over to Osterbahn. No good from Osterbahn. Luke Hurdle on the rebound. 3:30 remaining in the game. Hurdle gives to Gary. Gary, tough bucket for 2. 70-61, the Jackrabbits down by 9, slowly chipping away. St. Thomas on a field goal drought of the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds. 3 minutes remain and a whistle. It's going to be a media timeout. 3:05 remaining in the game. It's 70-61. The Jackrabbits down by 9. We'll step aside. We'll be back for the final 3 minutes of action here on Collegiate Sports.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by Kraft. Great food, fresh flavors, and a local touch. That's Kraft. From mouth-watering sandwiches and crisp salads to juicy burgers, steak, and pasta, there's something for everyone. Experience their famous cheese tape. Handcrafted and family-owned, you can find Kraft on the corner of 6th Street and Maderi. Reservations are appreciated.
There are many things in life that can get in the way of a great night's sleep. Your bed doesn't have to be one of them. You can find many options for your nest bed at the locally owned and operated Mattress by Appointment, located both in Brookings and Watertown. Mattress by Appointment has a wide selection of mattresses at prices below traditional retail stores. To make an appointment, you can text or call them at 605-695-8223. Mattress by Appointment is a proud sponsor of KSDJ 90.7.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back into the Summit League men's basketball quarterfinal match where the St. Thomas Tommies are taking on the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Currently the Jackrabbits down by 9 in the final stretch here. It's 70-61. The St. Thomas the 2 seed, South Dakota State the 7 seed. Tommies to inbound here with the final 3 minutes. Tommies with the basketball. Janowski gives over to Nolan Minisale. Minisale outside the arc, driving inside. Minisale and getting the double team. Kick it over to his teammate, trying for the buzzer beater, no good, but rebounded by Austin Hero in St. Thomas, and a foul comes in. Kalen Gary picks up a foul, his 4th personal foul. Austin Hero at the line, shooting some free throws. 2:44 remaining in the game. Hero's first is good. Puts the Tommies lead into double digits. Hero. Second is also good. The Tommies now lead by 11. Under 3 minutes remaining in the game. Jaden Jackson with the basketball for SDSU. Jackson looking for options, in trouble, and it's stolen away. It heads out of bounds. Last touch by St. Thomas. Kalen Gary comes over to inbound it here for the Jackrabbits. 2:30 remaining in the game. Gary inbounds it to Joe Seiler. Seiler with a quick drive inside. Kicks it out to Kalen Gary. Gary Bounce pass in, intended for Damon Wilkinson, but it goes out of bounds. St. Thomas will get it. 2:18 remaining in the game, and the St. Thomas Tommies leading by 11. The Tommies get the inbound. And quick pass it over to Ben Osterbahn. Over to Austin Hero. Hero kicks it over to his teammate Janowski, just running some clock down here for St. Thomas. Under 2 minutes now remaining in the game. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Ball heads out of bounds. Last touch by St. Thomas. The Jackrabbits will get it. 1:55 remaining. The Jacks are going to need to pick up 11 points. Matthew Moore's in to Jaden Jackson. Jackson hearing some grumbles from the fans as he was run around in half court, but Jackson gets a 2-point bucket. 72-63, the Jackrabbits going to be down by 9. Minute 44 remains in the game. Timeout taken by South Dakota State. Jackrabbits will have one timeout remaining after this one. The Jackrabbits were able to keep with St. Thomas for much of the first half and closed out the half 39-37 with a 2-point advantage for St. Thomas after the half. The Jackrabbits slowed down quite a bit. St. Thomas got quite the lead over the Jacks, 33-26, outscoring SDSU in the second. The Jacks are going to need to make up 9 points here in the last minute, 44. Nolan Minisale on the far side to inbound it for the Tommies. Got it in cleanly, and a foul from Matthew Morse. Preserving clock. Minute 42 remaining. 9th team foul for the Jackrabbits. Sends Austin Hero to the line, shooting 2. Hero's first is good. Makes it a 10-point game. Second shot from Hero is good. 74-63, minute 42 remaining in the game. Jackrabbits quick the other way. It's Jaden Jackson. Handed over to Joe Seiler. Seiler outside the arc. Seiler quick inside. Gets it out. Kalen Gary. A whistle. Foul on the Tommies. 6th team foul for St. Thomas. Minute 32 remaining in the game. Inbound to Kalen Gary. Over to Seiler. Seiler with a quick 3 attempt. No good. Jane Jackson rebound. Gary with a 3 attempt. That off the front of the rim. No good. Rebounded by St. Thomas and held down on the court. A whistle. Foul on the Jackrabbits. Jackson picks up the foul. The 10th team foul for the Jacks. Minute 23 remains in the game. At the line, shooting 2, it's Ryan Default. First one is good. Second shot. Also good. St. Thomas, 0 field goals in the last 4 minutes and 30 seconds, but still running away with it off of free throws. Joe Seiler up the court and a foul as he was moving forward. Minute 19 remaining in the game. Seventh team foul for the Tommies. Puts the Jackrabbits into the bonus. Sends Joe Seiler to the line, shooting 2. Seiler at the line. Shot is good. Second shot from Seiler is good. 76-65, a minute 19 remaining in the game. St. Thomas out ahead by 11. Foul comes in from Jaden Jackson, minute 18 remaining. At the line, shooting 2, it's Ryan Default. First one is missed. Default with his second attempt. Off the front of the rim, no good. Missed both of them that time. Damon Wilkinson gets the rebound. Jaden Jackson has it over to Joe Seiler. Seiler kicks it out, Jaden Jackson. Jackson driving forward, lost control of it. Kick out, Joe Seiler. Seiler for 3. Off the rim, no good. Rebound by Kalen Gary underneath the hoop. Damon Wilkinson going for it, gets fouled. Under a minute remains in the game. Wilkinson at the line, shooting 2. First for Wilkinson. Takes a good bounce off the front of the rim and in. .59 seconds remaining in the game. It's a 10-point game. Tommy's out ahead. Wilkinson at the line, shooting his second. Off the front of the rim and in. 76-67. It's a 9-point game. St. Thomas to inbound. Gets it in. And then a foul quickly there. 57 seconds remaining. St. Thomas is going to go down and shoot 2. Damon Wilkinson just picked up his 5th personal foul. Wilkinson fouls out. .57 seconds remaining in the game. 76-67, a 9-point lead for St. Thomas. And it is Austin Hero at the line, shooting 2. Hero is 4 for 4 on free throws today. Hero's first is good. Second shot from Hero is good. 78-67. St. Thomas leads by 11. Kalen Gary to inbound. Gets it into Joe Seiler. Under a minute remains. Seiler over to Matthew Moores. Moores spin move in the paint. Fade away 2. Off the front of the rim, no good. Rebounded by St. Thomas. Gary fouls. 43 seconds remains. 78-67. And Kaylin Gary fouls out with 5 personal fouls. Pirtle checks in for Gary. At the line, shooting 2, it is Nolan Miniso. First one is made. Caleb Delzell checks in for Matthew Morse. Second shot is good from Minnesota. It's 80-67, 43 seconds remain. Jaden Jackson up the court. Jackson for 3. That hits the front of the rim, no good. Rebounded by St. Thomas, and 30 seconds remain, and they're going to let it run down. St. Thomas is going to win the quarterfinal, defeating the number 7 seeded Jackrabbits. Final score is going to be 80-67. There's going to be about 5 seconds left on the shot clock here. The Jackrabbits are going to take it back. And the Jacks are going to inbound. It's Joe Seiler to inbound it with 5 seconds remaining. And Jaden Jackson's going to hold it out. Jaden Jackson holds it out, and that'll close it. 80-67, the Tommies defeat the Jackrabbits and will advance to the semifinal in the Men's Summit League tournament. We'll get the breakdown for you on the stats here for this game. The Jackrabbits were able to hold with the Tommies for all of the first half, but in the second, things started to fall apart, and the Tommies started to operate more efficiently, ultimately leading to the St. Thomas victory. Looking forward for women's basketball for South Dakota State. They will play on Saturday, March 7th, 25 minutes after Game 6. That game starts at noon. So we're projecting that game to start around 2:30. So around 2:30, South Dakota State's going to play either South Dakota or Denver in the semifinal match, and we'll have it for you here on Collegiate Sports on Saturday. And if the women would advance to the championship on March 8th, Sunday at 3 p.m., we'll also have that one for you on Collegiate Sports as well. So keep you posted on those seedings and the matchups, but we'll have all the women's stuff for you coming up for Summit League tournament. The men not able to get it done here against St. Thomas, and the number 2 seeded Tommies will advance into the semifinals. They will either play North Dakota or Denver, whichever wins the game tomorrow night. Taking a look at the stats for this game. Final score 80-67, and St. Thomas comes away with the victory. Leading scores for St. Thomas is Ben Osterbahn with 23 points. He was 8 for 13 from the field, 5 for 8 from outside the arc, and 2 for 2 on free throws. 4 rebounds, 2 assists for Osterbahn. Nolan Minisale had 22 points behind Osterbahn. 7 for 12 from the field, 4 for 6 from outside the arc, and 4 for 5 from the line. 8 rebounds and 6 assists for Minisale. Behind him was Janowski with 10 points, Berkey with 8 points, Johnson Arrigu with 8 points, Hero with 6 points, and Default with 3 points. Taking a look at the Jackrabbits' leading scorers, Jaden Jackson led the Jackrabbits with 16 points today. He was 6 for 18 from the field, 2 for 10 from outside the arc, 2 for 2 on free throws, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist for Jaden Jackson. Behind him was Damon Wilkinson with 13 points. He was 5 for 7 today from the field, 3 for 3 from the line, 5 rebounds, 2 assists for Wilkinson. Joe Seiler also had 13 points today. He was 3 for 12 from the field, 2 for 8 from outside the arc, and 5 for 5 on free throws. 4 rebounds and 4 assists for Seiler. Behind him was Matthew Moores with 9 points today, 4 for 9 from the field, 0 for 2 on three-pointers, and 1 for 1 on free throws. 5 rebounds and 2 assists for Matthew Morse. Kalen Gary behind him with 8 points, 3 for 7 on from the field, 2 for 4 from outside the arc, 6 rebounds and 2 assists for Kalen Gary. Behind Gary was Alex Squires with 5 points, 2 of them from the field, 1 from the free throw line. And Luke Hurdle had 3 points today, that coming from an and 1. 6 rebounds and 2 assists for Luke Hurdle. That is the stats for this game. Team stats, the Tommies outshot the Jackrabbits. The Jacks' shooting percentage from the field was at 38% compared to the Tommy 51%. 24 for 63 for the Jacks, 24 for 47 for the Tommies. From outside the arc, the Jackrabbits shot 21% compared to the Tommies 44%. 6 for 29 for the Jacks, 12 for 27 for St. Thomas. Free throws, the Jackrabbits hit 93%, 13 for 14 there. The Tommies only hit 80% of their free throws, but had much more volume, 20 for 25 there for the Tommies. The Jackrabbits had 12 turnovers today compared to the Tommies 8, and the Jackrabbits only had 4 points off of turnovers compared to the Tommy 19. The Jackrabbits had 37 total rebounds today compared to the Tommies 25, and still outpaced the Tommies through the second half, but it wasn't enough to keep the Jackrabbits out ahead. Taking a look at steals, the Jackrabbits had 6 steals compared to the Tommy 5. And taking a look at points from the paint, the Jackrabbits were able to outscore the Tommies inside the paint 28-24. But the Tommies lighting it up from outside the arc, hitting 44% of the three-point field goals was the deciding factor. Again, final score from this one, 80-67. The number 2 seed St. Thomas Tommies take down the number 7 seeded South Dakota State Jackrabbits. But we will have plenty more South Dakota State basketball for you as the women head into the semifinals as the number 2 seed. They will play either the number 3 seeded Yotes or the number 6 seeded Denver Pioneers. We'll have the updates for you on social media as that game takes place tomorrow. And then we will be live here again on Saturday, March 7th. 25 minutes after the game at noon ends. So around 2:30 to 3, we will go live again for the South Dakota State women's team. So make sure to tune in for that. I will be here also for the championship game if the Jackrabbits make it there. Again, final score 80-67. Couldn't get it done today. A little disappointing, but we weren't expecting anything big as the 7 seed coming in here got excited through the first half as we were able to pace with the Tommies. But in the second, it showed who the better team was coming in to the postseason, and the Tommies move on to the semifinals. As always, go big, go blue, go Jacks. I've been Ben Anderson for Collegiate Sports. Have a good night, everybody.